And welcome back to part 2. In this part we're going to start with the Crimson Chalice. You already know what type of video this is, so basically going every single relic in the game, talking about its minimal star requirement, its best use in its best teams, and with what relics. So Crimson Chalice best use is obviously in the Dooms, but it can be used in the Valiantors as well. Although Valiantors are not typically run with their own relics, because the execute is already kind of secured by the Phoenix in the seasonal PvP. In non-seasonal, such as the Yggdrasil Arena and other game modes that basically don't have execute, you typically do want the Valiantor relics, but other than that, you don't really do that in the most important modes, such as the Foggy and such as the World Arena. So therefore, the 3 Valiantor relics they really do lose out on the value just because of one pet called the Phoenix. But you mostly will use this relic in the Dooms. As is showcased, this relic is pretty good in PvE high end because of the HP reduction, but apart from that you don't really run it in PvE, and it's really niche even in there. So in the PvP the best part is its silence, so silencing is really important. I did make a whole entire review of this relic in detail. I even tested against heroes like Aphrodite, so Aphrodite can still steal your heroes even if she's silenced. That's what I found out because of her rune effect. So the same applies to the Hades, same applies to the Wu Zetian, Sheng, and any other Phantom Illusion hero. But the silence is still pretty good because it will basically negate the damage from those heroes. So once it's Aphrodite's action, she will be basically silenced and not be able to ult. She will just rather do her basic attack. This is really good, especially at 8 stars. The 50% chance to silence is really high. In this game you can rely reliably on 50% most of the times to be in your favor, because it's likely to happen, such as is the case with Leviathan or the Ape. So yeah, overall a really strong relic, one of the best for the Dooms in my opinion, because even if they don't do their skill, they will get reflected by the basic attack they do, and I believe the game is still coded to basically reflect the damage of the skill despite them being silenced. Although I cannot confirm this, I will try to when I get the time to test this relic. But apart from that, it's not really reliable information, so yeah, sorry for that. If you have time, feel free to test it. And basically this passive skill is really useless. The only useful part about this relic is this one, which is silence. So the best star level is 2 to 6 to 8 stars. This is what is most important about it. Where you run it in the regular Dooms. It's the best in there. So the Dooms with Victoria, Leviathan, Behemoth, Babylon, and as well as Victoria usually. Or you can use Arthur or Dahlia depending on whether your Victoria is free or not, but you will always use it in Dooms pretty much, because as I explained, the Valiantors don't really need their relic synergy. So really good relic, really strong relic, and also I forgot to mention, this is one of those rare relics that has a 3-round cooldown. What does this mean? If you pair it with something like a lance, which triggers 5 rounds usually with other chrono relics, but with this one it will trigger every 3 rounds, so it will actually give you full value of the double action, which is this feeble effect. So enemies, or rather your allies, will take double action against enemies most of the times because of the cooldown of the relic being 3 rounds. So your uptime of the lance feeble effect will be constantly here. Other than that, the requirement for the relic I believe is 2 stars to unlock that skill, which is not Link's skill but the other skill, and after that it's 6 to 8 stars for the best optimal use. Next relic is going to be Cauldron. This Cauldron relic is really unique. It has one use, which is basically making your team immortal for the whole one round, for which is the round it gets cast at. So if you cast it in the second round, you will be immune, and if you do it in the second round once the actions are over, then you basically made Cauldron be officially useless relic. How do you properly use this relic is you use it with 100 restore energy relic and then Cauldron in the position number 2. I will go to the battle to showcase how it's actually done. Let me just go to the arena. So when we go to the defense, I will set it up like this. So this is how you want to use your Cauldron. So first of all, you want to have 100 energy restoration relic. That's not the crown. The crown doesn't restore the energy. As you can see, it restores 45 energy every round. This is not how you want to use the Cauldron for the instant round immunity. Rather than that, you want to use something like chest, which is right here, instantly restores 100 energy. That's relic energy. So something like this will not work because it's not instant energy restoration, but it's instead round restoration. But the other relics such as these at 9 stars will be highly effective, and pretty much every relic apart from these few of the beginners ones don't do that, but every other relic will. So you want to deploy something like lens, and then in the middle position you want to use the cauldron. So the cauldron you will use, it's not lens, lens is just an example. If you are using it Mystiforce, you will want to use Mystiforce relic. For example, the Underworld Key or the Netherworld Flame, whatever its name is. And then you will want to use the Cauldron. So this relic casts instantly because its energy is reduced to 20, which is the starting energy. At 9 stars, that's the best part of this relic, or rather any recovery relic. So you will want it at 9 stars, and then you will instantly cast the Cauldron. Your team will be instantly immune to the battle damage. Let me just make an example. So I will go to the actual battle. It doesn't matter who I will fight. I'm just here to show you an example, not on the Lucifer team. That's a pretty terrible mistake to do, because my Lucifer will make them not deal damage anyway, but we will use the Cauldron right here, and then you will use another Chrono Relic like Gleipnir. That's the most common combo in my opinion. So we will do that, we will skip this battle, which doesn't matter, and then we will show you how it works. So now you will see that my team, he has Gaia, so he will definitely cast the first his skills. And you will see that Cauldron, as it says, after casting for the next one round, it's meant the round it casts in, damage received by allies will be absorbed by the Cauldron. This also stops the freeze effect because your allies are not taking active damage to be frozen, so you are also kind of immune to the freeze as well. It also, I believe, stops the corrode, but I can't guarantee that. I haven't really bothered with it, but as you can see, I'm not getting any holy shields removed. Okay, it doesn't stop corrode, we just saw it gets applied, but not constantly. Okay, did her. So okay, corrode is still getting applied, but you're not taking any damage, not even your holy shields are getting removed. So that's how you properly utilize the cauldron. If you're up against someone who has a burst team in your first round, you can also use this to counter the tree effect. So if your team is sealed for the first round, you can cast your cauldron, which will give you the immunity for the entire round of the duration if the seal is there. So your team will kind of counter the seal with its cauldron effect, which is really, really strong. What star level do you need for this relic? It's just 2 stars. After that, it's really, really irrelevant. Everything after that is really irrelevant. Or 3 stars. Whenever you unlock the equilibrium passive, it's where you stop it. The active skill now targets 3 enemies, pretty useless, so overall it's just whatever you unlock this skill, this relic is enough. The duration of the damage sharing doesn't mean the rounds your immune is goes up, it's really completely irrelevant, this skill, so just the 3 stars or 2 stars is completely enough for this relic to be viable for this type of strategy. The next relic is going to be the Thunderbelt. So this relic is one of the most unique relics in the PvE. Once released, it completely cleared all of the Lost City 800 levels. It completely cleared all of the Celestial Trials 150, all of them with ease. It was so bugged that it basically broke the game so much that nothing really broke the game as much as it did. So do you want it now? Kind of, yes. This heal part is completely useless because we don't really need healings in the battle. But the good part about it is the damage it does. It's really good at basically destroying the enemy holy shields because of the amounts of instances of damage it does. And it also restores 100 energy. For Valiantors, this is a pretty good relic. You will mostly run it with Valiantors. I don't think anyone runs it with Ethereals, although it could be good with the HP scaling of it, but I think it takes the base stats instead of the scaled stats, so overall you will always see it with Valiantors, but my recommendation is to start using it at 9 stars unless you need a filler relic, in which case it's completely fine. The minimal star level investment for this relic is 3 stars, and even at 3 stars after the bug fixes, it's still pretty OP in Celestial Trials. You can use it with the chest for the double cast, so it deals pretty much far better damage, and then a relic type of damage increase to the relics, such as the judgment blades or whatever, the executioner blades, these ones right here. So judgment blades paired with the underworld key and with the chest is basically how you play it. But apart from that, is it necessary? Not really. At 3 stars you can just get it to there and completely ignore it for the rest of the game until it becomes more viable, and so you can get it to 9 stars, which is what I'm doing currently. So I'm not really using it at all, but I'm waiting to get it to 9 stars so I can actually use it far more in the actual meta battles that matter. The next relic is going to be the Gleipnir. Gleipnir needs a minimum of 5 stars in my opinion. At 3 stars it's unreliable because it buffs the backline and it only gives speed to those. So at 5 stars it also makes all allies cast in the first round, so it's kind of like a Lucifer effect at 5 stars. So I really do recommend getting it to 3 and 5 stars if you can. It's a really good relic for both PvP and PvE. It's really cheesy. After casting the relic, immediately resets the ultimate cooldown of all allies. So as I said, it's the same logic applied as the cauldron. You will want to use 100 energy to cast it as fast as possible. Immediately reset the ultimate cooldown does not mean my hero ulted, now I will cast the Gleipnir and they will ult again. No, that's what I thought, but it's not that. What it does, it actually makes the hero, instead of casting basic attack in that round, it will cast ultimate. That's what it does. It same goes for the 7 stars. I believe 7 stars is a really good spot. I will get it there soon. But as I said, 5 stars is really the sweet spot for this relic. Really, really usable, really cheesy. Mostly run in the Mystifiers teams with cauldron. So you would use something like the telescope into the cauldron into the Gleipnir, and that's a really strong combo, and I do suggest running it. Or you can also use this relic underworld key instead of the telescope with the telescope also. So these 4 relics are the key Mystifier relics you will run everywhere pretty much, and I do suggest getting Gleipnir to 5 stars. It's really good, and I do highly suggest to get it, because this part right here, it also, yeah, I will reveal it, this part also ignores the seal effect. So this Gleipnir relic also does counter the tree in a way, because the seal stops your heroes from casting ultimates because they have been sealed. But then you cast your Gleipnir, which will reset the ultimate cooldowns, so your allies will actually cast their ultimates in the first round. They are really, really good counter. I posted a video on this in the shorts, the 8 Valianters beating the 8 Ethereals on defense. I had Gleipnir, and Gleipnir made my allies cast ultimate despite being sealed from the enemy tree. So yeah, once again, really, really high suggestion for it. It's the 5 rounds cooldown, but it doesn't matter. The ultimates part really, really carries, and also the speed is really nice. So yeah, overall great suggestion, great relic, get it as far as possible, but 5 stars is the sweet spot, 7 stars is the ideal spot. So that was it for those relics. I only covered 4 of them now, but yeah, next time I will go over these 3 and perhaps even the crown, but these 3 are like the key relics, and they all kind of work together but also don't work together. So they are all quite tricky and they will probably take quite some time. And yeah, thank you for watching, good luck in your journey, and see you guys in the next one.